Masters Real Estate Success Training, helping you get more yeses and more successes in your business and in your life. And I had a great question this morning from one of my coaching members that is talking about dealing with a buyer or seller who is having family members that they want to go consult for a second opinion. So he said, I want to deal with the best way to deal with family members' opinions. The second listing this month where the people are coming back and saying, my dad says blah, 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 whatever it is. And of course, you want to say, how many homes has your dad sold this month? But obviously that doesn't work out. So how do you deal with this other decision maker thing? Which is really what this is. They're not formal decision makers. In other words, they're not on the tax record. They're not owners of record, but these are typically they're going to be young first-time homeowners. If they're buying, they're first-time home buyers. So here's the way you deal with that. Is first pre-qualifying. In the pre-qualifying, if they're young, you ask them, and on the seller sheet, the question is, will all the decision makers be there for our appointment? If you have any sense, and you don't always, but if you have any sense that there's somebody else they're consulting, just say, so besides you and your wife, are there any other decision makers involved in this at all? And especially if they're extremely young, you can maybe see it, and you ask, when you bought the house, were you guys on your own, or did you have anybody talking to you and so forth? Sometimes that's hard to do, but you'll always be watching for that. And on buying a house, always ask for first-time buyers. Who else are you talking to for advice, direction, and so forth? Now, here's the beauty. As soon as you realize there is an influencer in their decision, maybe not a decision maker, but an influencer, you want to immediately include them in the process. Awesome. So you're talking to your parents. Great. I tell you what, why don't we set up a conference call so we can all have a conversation and just go over everything and talk about what's the best strategy, what's the best pricing strategy for the home, what's the best way to get the home to sell. Because my parents are saying this, this, and this. You can't discredit the parents, because that's the reason they're talking to the parents, is they trust their parents' wisdom, authority, expertise, experience, and all of that. So instead of seeing them as an adversary, you've got to see them as a necessary ally. You've got to immediately go, oh, great, so you talked to your parents. Excellent. Now tell me again what they said. Okay, so tell me what they based that on. Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't we set up a time just to have a conversation for the three of us where we conference call them in, or if they live in the area, have them come and meet. And literally, it's work. It's a hassle. I get that. But if you don't establish trust and influence and authority with the parents or with the other decision makers, they're going to be a pain in your neck and a thorn in your side for the entire transaction, the entire relationship. However, the moment that you show respect for the parent's opinion or the other person's opinion, you gain credibility. And here's the beauty. When you talk to the parents, when you meet with the parents, and you say da-da-da-da, and you ask them questions, and you say, and I appreciate so much you're helping your children, helping Bill and Mary or whatever make this decision, and helping guide them through this. Since I know this is their first time to be selling a house. When you do that, and I wanted just to touch base with you and connect with you so that you and I were in communication, and so we could make sure that we're all on the same page and so forth. And what happens is now the parents go like, wow, this agent is sharp, because this agent respects and appreciates my input. And you want to make the parent that expert. It can be your uncle that's a home inspector, or somebody in the mortgage business. It can be whatever it is that your clients see them as advisors. When you align yourself with them, you make them an ally, your life is so much better. The transaction will go smoother, and they're not second guessing you, and literally they can undermine you the entire time until you do that. And when you align with them, it may or may not always be possible, but you always make the effort to align with the parent or with the decision makers, the influencers. You want to align with them, and here's the thing. Understand and learn what their motivation is, because they may or may not have an ulterior motivation, but a lot of times they just want to protect their kids, they want to protect whoever. And number two, sometimes they love the feeling of being the expert, of being the authority, of being somebody who's looked up to, and so their ego can also be involved. Play their ego. You just go with it. Just love it, enjoy it, make it easy. Don't resist, because when you resist, they resist, and now they don't trust you. So you got to find a way to get on their side. It's game changing when you get that. So Kevin Ward here at Guest Masters Real Estate Success Training came in from our vacation home in Martha's Vineyard, but it's a great question. I wanted to get it answered right away. Have an awesome day. Play to win.